One of the challenges about deciding what one's vocation is, say to the married state or to the religious state or to the clerical state, is that all of these things are not only permissible, they're in themselves good. So when you're trying to discern what you want or what you ought to choose, what is God's will for you, you're always dealing with things that are all accessible goods, things that should be beautiful, that are noble, that have a kind of truthfulness to them that we would want. So nothing's impermissible, but is mere permissibility sufficient? Because after all, God could call you to something that He wants for you, and that He could even lead you to want, which is different than merely accepting or allowing you to do the good you want to do. At the heart of the discernment of a vocation is the question of desire. What do we desire in our inner heart? But here, again, the question is a little difficult. Is the desire just a facile desire, an easy desire of my nature? Maybe a good one, to get married, go on with life, have children. Or maybe even in some strange way, I think marriage is too fraught with risks. We've seen how many people get damaged by it. I desire to just go into the convent, flee adversity. Well, what we're talking about is an educated desire, and not just educated by knowledge, but educated by prayer and grace. To put ourselves, you might say, under the lamplight or the sunlight of Christ, and to allow His light into our soul in the faith, to ask Him with hope in a pathway towards sanctification, and in love and devotion to the heart of Christ. What is it He's asking of us? And then let Him answer that through our desires, not merely by external imposition. Here's what's most perfect. Here's what's most holy. Here's what's most grave. Here's what's most difficult. Make sure you do that, then you'll become a most holy person. That's not how God works. God works from the inside to call us sometimes to what is most difficult, but sometimes to just what He wants for us in His particular providence. We can't do things we don't desire to do. We can let our desires be educated by the grace of God and give Christ the freedom to operate in us. So the main thing is to ask Christ for the grace to make a good discernment. And that's a repeated instance. That's not something you do one time and then say, well, I'm glad I'm done with that now. I can go about and do whatever I want. There's a deeper process of surrender, to surrender to the heart of Christ, to ask Him for His grace, and then to try to find a pathway towards sanctification. And if a person is called to marriage, or is in effect not called to the priesthood or religious life, and then undertakes marriage with that disposition, then marriage will really become a pathway to deeper joy, holiness, and profound union with God, because there's a deeper intentionality to find the pathway of Christ. And if a person is called to be a priest, the person can do this not because it feels imposed from outside by expectations of family or even one's own perfectionist self, but by the internal work of desire, even if that desire is a difficult one, because it can mean giving up other things that are desired. But there's self-knowledge. I desire this more than that, and I know that I can move forward with Christ's call, and with His grace, I hope I can live this life. So we have to, on the one hand, learn from Christ, lead with Christ, or let Him move us from within. And on the other side, we have to be not just docile, but students of our own desires, to try to find where the Holy Spirit is leading us as we make our discernments.